All right, you beautiful bastards. Welcome back to the show today. We're diving headfirst into some seriously ancient shit. Oxford freaking University. We've got a mountain of sources here, all about this legendary institution. And let me tell you, this ain't gonna be no snooze fest history lesson. We're gonna dig up the dirt, the drama, the drunken debauchery, all the shit they don't put in those glossy brochures they hand out to tourists. And to help us navigate this academic jungle, we've got, as always, our resident brainiac. Fresh out of the ivory tower. I'm kidding, they get out plenty.
Yeah.
But someone's got to keep this shit show from going completely off the rails, right?
More like try to keep up. Where we're going, we don't need rails.
All right, let's cut the crap and get down to business. So, Oxford.
Old as hell, right? I mean, we're talking dinosaurs roamed the earth. Kind of old.
Older, actually. We're talking evidence of teaching going back to 1096. To put that in perspective, Harvard's a goddamn toddler compared to this place.
10 fucking 96. What the hell were they teaching back then? How to slay a dragon?
Alchemy.
Probably more like Latin and rhetoric. But who knows? Maybe they had a secret dragon-slaying seminar on the side?
All right, so we've established that Oxford's old as fuck. But who the hell actually started this whole thing? Did some bored wizard just decide to wave his wand and poof, a university appeared?
Funny you should ask. Because no one really knows for sure. It's like this big academic mystery. There were some guys back in the 1300s trying to claim that Alfred the Great was the founder.
Wait, you mean like burn the cakes, Alfred the Great? You're shitting me?
Yep, that guy. Total bullshit, of course. But every good institution needs a good origin story, right? Even if it's a complete fabrication.
Okay, so if it wasn't King Alfred burning his toast and accidentally founding a university, what actually got the ball rolling? When did Oxford become, Oxford?
Well, things really started to heat up in 1167. Thanks to our old pal Henry II, he basically decided to ban English students from studying at the University of Paris.
Dick move, right?
What a prick. So all these brainy Brits got kicked out and said, fine, we'll start our own damn university. Pretty much. A forced repatriation of intellectuals, you could say. It was a brain drain back to England. And Oxford became the go-to spot for higher learning.
But wait, didn't Cambridge start around the same time? Were they always like mortal enemies? Didn't some massive brawl break out?
You're thinking of the town versus gown riots that happened a bit later. But the rivalry between Oxford and Cambridge, oh, it's real. And it goes way back. Picture this. A bunch of Oxford students get into a brawl with the townspeople. A full-on medieval street fight.
What? Over what? A bad pint of ale. Some dude cutting in line for the privy.
Details are fuzzy, but these students hightail it out of Oxford, pissed off and nursing their wounds. And where do they end up? Cambridge, and what do? Start their own damn university. Talk about holding a grudge.
That's some hardcore academic beef. So we've got brawling students, a king with a serious case of small dick energy, and a mysterious founding date. Now, what about these colleges? Isn't Oxford like a bunch of mini-universities all smooshed together?
Exactly. Oxford is all about its colleges. Think of them like independent kingdoms within the larger university, and you have to belong to one. There are 39 colleges and another 4 private halls, each with its own quirks and traditions.
39. That's fucked up. So you're telling me I can't just waltz in and say, hey, I'm here to learn. I got to pledge allegiance to some weird-ass college.
It's the Oxford way, my friend. Each college has its own vibe, its own history, even its own rivalries. Think Hogwarts, but with more booze and fewer wands.
All right, now we're talking. Speaking of booze, what about all the crazy traditions I've heard about? What's the deal with these trashings and balls everyone keeps whispering about? Don't hold back. Give us the dirty details.
Oh, we're about to get into some seriously messed up shit. Trashing. Imagine this. You just finished your final exams. You're wearing your fancy-ass Harry Potter robes, feeling all proud of yourself for surviving another semester.
Okay, so far so good. I'm already picturing myself in one of those robes, looking like a goddamn wizard.
And then, BAM! Your friends ambush you and drench you in everything from champagne and silly string to flour and rotten eggs. It's a full-on assault. A celebratory humiliation, if you will.
You get covered in actual crap. That's fucking epic. I'm booking a flight to England for next year's finals. Someone give me a bucket of rotten tomatoes.
Don't forget about the balls. These are massive themed parties that some colleges throw. We're not talking about your average beer pong and pizza night. These are black tie orchestras, champagne, flowing like water kind of parties.
Okay, now I'm really sold. This place sounds like my kind of party. But was it all just posh kids getting pissed and partying? Did anyone actually learn anything at Oxford?
Don't let the debauchery fool you. Oxford's still one of the most academically rigorous institutions on the planet. We're talking Nobel laureates, world leaders, groundbreaking scientists, the whole shebang. These folks weren't just chugging ale and throwing tomatoes.
All right, fine. Hit me with some names. Who are some of these Oxford brainiacs, besides the ones who peaked in college, obviously?
Well, for starters, 31 British prime ministers came out of Oxford. That's right, 31.
30-fucking-1. Jesus, that's more prime ministers than I've had hot dinners. And we're just getting started.
Yeah. We've also got tons of other international bigwigs, kings, presidents, you name it. They've all walked through those hallowed halls.
Hold up. Are you telling me Bill Clinton went to Oxford? That slick Willie himself?
Rhodes Scholar, no less. Spent a couple of years soaking up the Oxford atmosphere before he became leader of the free world.
All right, so all these big shots, they were just studying politics and law.
Right.
Prepping for world domination.
Not even close. Oxford has a long and ridiculously impressive history in pretty much every field you can think of. Science, math, literature, music, philosophy. They even have 4 Fields medalists.
Fields medalists? Is that like some kind of Olympic medal for nerds?
Think of it like the Nobel Prize for math.
Yeah, and I'm starting to think going to Oxford might have made me less of a dumbass. Nah, who am I kidding? But seriously, this place sounds insane.
Hold on tight, because we're just getting started. Let's talk about how this whole college system actually works. Because 39 colleges. It's got to be more than just a bunch of dorms with different names, right?
Yeah, spill the tea. How do these colleges actually function? What makes them so damn special? Besides the whole medieval kingdom vibe, obviously.
All right, so picture this. You're sitting down with a world-renowned expert in your field, a leading historian, a groundbreaking physicist, whatever your jam is, and it's just you, maybe a couple other students.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Sounds like some kind of academic orgy, but with less heavy breathing and more intellectual stimulation.
And you're spending an hour picking their brain, debating ideas, getting personalized feedback on your work. No stuffy lectures with hundreds of bored students. No giant classrooms where you're just a face in the crowd. Just pure concentrated learning.
It's just like a private lesson with a goddamn genius. Sign me the fuck up. These tutorials, that's what they're called, right? Way better than those giant lecture halls I had to suffer through.
Tutorials, yeah. It's one of Oxford's most unique features. And these tutorials are run by the colleges, not the university itself.
Hold on. So the colleges do the teaching, but the university hands out the degrees. Isn't that a little fucked up? Like, who's actually in charge here?
It's a system that's been working for centuries, believe it or not, and it's part of what makes Oxford so unique. It's like a decentralized academic powerhouse.
All right. I'll take your word for it. But let's talk about the students themselves. I've heard all these rumors about Oxford being full of rich, entitled pricks, like the kind of people who'd summer in the Swiss Alps and have butlers serving them caviar for breakfast. How much of that is true?
Well, let's be real. Oxford has definitely had its fair share of posh kids throughout history. Back in the day, you practically had to be royalty to get in. I mean, they didn't even let women in until the 1920s.
Don't even get me started on that bullshit. Talk about being stuck in the dark ages. But hey, at least they finally let the ladies in, right? Better late than never, I guess.
It was a long and hard-fought battle, but yeah, they finally caved. And to be fair, they've been making a real effort to diversify the student body in recent years. Scholarships, outreach programs, you name it.
So you're telling me there are actually normal people walking around Oxford these days? People who haven't, summered on a yacht in the Mediterranean?
Believe it or not, yeah. You might even bump into a few working-class heroes among all the tweed jackets and fancy accents.
Well, that gives me a little hope for humanity.
Eh.
Now we got to talk about the libraries, man. I'm talking about those ancient Harry Potter-esque libraries, the ones with dusty books and secret passages, and maybe even a ghost or two haunting the stacks. Does Oxford live up to the hype?
Oh, absolutely. The Bodleian Library is legendary. It's the second largest library in the UK after the British Library itself.
Second largest in the entire UK.
Jesus
Christ, just how many goddamn books are we talking about here? I'm picturing a building the size of a small city, just overflowing with books.
Over 11 million volumes. And get this, they're adding more books every year.
11 million. That's more books than I could read in 1,000 lifetimes. Okay, I'm sold. Oxford has the history, the traditions, the libraries. They've even got Bill Clinton. But what's the deal with this whole city-university thing? No central campus, huh?
Nope. The colleges and departments are scattered all over the city, which honestly just adds to the charm. It's like the whole town is a giant campus. Ancient buildings, cobblestone streets, pubs, shops, even the occasional nightclub, all mixed in with lecture halls and libraries.
So you're telling me I could stumble out of a pub at 2 a.m. and accidentally wander into a Shakespearean lecture? Sounds like my kind of place. But we got to address the elephant in the room here. Oxford's reputation for being a breeding ground for elitism, all that Bullington Club bullshit. How much of that is just, a bunch of old-fashioned wankers? And how much of it is actually a problem?
That's a valid question. Oxford has a long and, let's face it, pretty messed up history when it comes to elitism.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was basically a finishing school for the wealthy and powerful, but they've been trying to shake off that image. And they're making some progress.
Okay, so it's not just a playground for the privileged anymore. There's hope for us regular folks who can't trace our ancestry back to William the Conqueror.
Absolutely. It's still a work in progress, but Oxford's evolving just like everything else.
All right, I gotta admit, you've painted a pretty damn compelling picture here. Oxford sounds like this crazy mix of history, tradition, and cutting-edge academia, all wrapped up in a city that's practically bursting with knowledge and booze. What's not to love?
It's an experience like no other, that's for sure.
But you know what I'm still curious about? All those crazy student societies and clubs. I'm talking secret societies, debating clubs, hell, maybe even a fight club or two. What do these Oxford kids get up to in their spare time when they're not busy writing dissertations or getting trashed? So spill the beans. What kind of crazy shit do these students get up to when they're not hitting the books?
Well, when it comes to extracurriculars, Oxford's got it all. We're talking sports, music, drama, politics, you name it. Hundreds of clubs and societies covering every imaginable interest.
Hundreds? Holy shit. I bet they've got some seriously weird ones in there, like a cheese tasting society or a club for people who collect those little hotel soaps.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. But if you're looking for the true Oxford experience, you gotta check out the Oxford Union.
The Oxford Union? What the hell is that? Sounds like some kind of student government thing.
Nah, it's way cooler than that. Think of it like a debating society on steroids. It's been around since 1823, and they've hosted some of the most famous speakers in the world. Politicians, writers, activists, you name it. They've all graced the stage at the Oxford Union.
Damn, that's pretty badass. So it's like a TED Talk for brainy students, except with probably way more booze and heckling?
Something like that. It's a true test of your wit and your ability to think on your feet. And yeah, there's definitely a fair amount of heckling and drunken interruptions. It's all part of the fun.
Okay, speaking of drunken shenanigans,
Yeah.
what about all those rumors about secret societies? You know, the ones with the hooded robes and the bizarre rituals. Did those actually exist, or is that just Hollywood bullshit?
Oh, the secret societies are real, all right. And they're shrouded in more mystery and controversy than a Dan Brown novel.
Give me some names. Spill the tea on these shadowy figures. What kind of depraved shit are they getting up to behind closed doors?
Well, the most notorious one has got to be the Bullingdon Club. They're infamous for their wealth, their elitism, and their tendency to trash restaurants and get away with it because, you know, daddy's money.
Sounds like a bunch of entitled little shits.
Pretty much. They've been around for centuries, and their alumni list reads like a who's who of British power and privilege. Prime ministers, royalty, business tycoons, they've all been members of the Bullingdon Club.
Damn, it's like a secret society for the 1%. I bet their initiation rituals involve snorting cocaine off a Fabergé egg or something.
I wouldn't put it past them. But the Bullingdon Club is just the tip of the iceberg. There are tons of other secret societies at Oxford, some more secretive than others, each with their own bizarre traditions and rituals.
All right, this is getting creepier by the minute. I'm starting to think Oxford isn't just a university. It's like a portal to some hidden dimension of power and intrigue.
Well, let's not get too carried away. At the end of the day, it's still a place of learning, even if some of that learning happens in shadowy back rooms with questionable rituals.
Yeah, you're probably right. But you got to admit, there's something undeniably fascinating about all this secrecy and tradition. It's like something out of an old school spy movie.
That's Oxford for you. A unique blend of history, academia, and just a touch of the bizarre, and a whole lot of booze.
All right, I think we've covered pretty much everything there is to know about this crazy-ass university.
Oh, well,
Old as hell, full of weird traditions, responsible for educating a bunch of world leaders and geniuses, and also a breeding ground for some seriously questionable secret societies. Got to give them credit, they're never boring.
Never a dull moment at Oxford, that's for sure.
Big thanks to our expert for joining us today and dropping some serious knowledge bombs on our asses. I learned more about Oxford in the past hour than I did my entire high school career.
Anytime. Always happy to geek out about Oxford.
All right, you beautiful bastards. That's it for our deep dive into the wild world of Oxford University. Stay curious, and if you ever find yourself at a trashing food, make sure you've got a spare set of clothes. You've been warned.